Why did you take out a V8 Ferrari engine and put in a Japanese Honda? What's going on, guys? It's Art here again from Vibrant Performance, and I am today in the CSF booth with our good friend Mike Burroughs. And behind us we have the 244 GTK, which used to be a 308 GTB.
GTBI, technically.
GTBI. So why did the name of this car change, Mike?
Well, the name of the car originally represents 308. That's a 3-liter, 8-cylinder engine. It now represents 244. It's 2.4-liter, 4-cylinder engine because we swapped a Honda K24 into it.
Now, in case you guys have not been on the internet at all, Mike has an awesome YouTube channel where he's been showing every step of the way of how you got this car from a regular stock Ferrari that was pristine into this beautiful masterpiece. What is some of the hardest challenges you found in the last 2 years as you were building this car?
I mean, obviously swapping an engine into the car is a challenge. It's never going to be a straightforward process, especially when it hasn't been done and the engine or the car itself doesn't really facilitate it. But a bigger challenge than just swapping a K-Series into the car was redesigning all of the suspension for the car. From the ground up, I basically took everything off the car, threw it away, designed my own control arms, uprights. We put custom H&R coilovers on it, as you know, and just trying to build a suspension package for the car that works and functions so that these wide fenders from Liberty Walk would actually function well, not just be dress-up parts with wider tires shoved underneath. That was a huge challenge. Swapping the engine itself, honestly, from a fabricator's perspective, was pretty straightforward. The K-Series is so well developed and every problem has been solved already. So it's just a matter of figuring out exactly what parts and components that I wanted to use. Obviously, every piece of fabrication material on the car is Vibrant, everything from the turbo manifold to all the charge piping, all of the plumbing, and our HD clamps. I mean, all of those products made it super easy to do. It was just a matter of putting all the pieces together and making it work.
And one of the things, in case you guys are wondering, we've been working with Mike for a couple of years now, but he actually went out and bought the parts. And I told you, I'm like, hey, let us help you out with this. And you're just like, don't worry about it, I'll buy it. Why did you do that?
I mean, Vibrant's a company that I believe in. I want to support. You guys have supported me in the past. Honestly, I'm a it's time to go kind of guy. And sometimes the red tape can be a challenge. And when I want to get something done, it's like, hey, let's just do this. And I know that you guys would support me, which is why I support you. And sometimes you just got to get stuff done. So I said, hey, Art, I'm just gonna get this stuff bought. We'll worry about it later. So
yeah, and our distributors do a fantastic job of delivering products next day whenever needed. So let's walk through the fabrication stuff. So the car's, you said it's turbocharged. What were some of the unique things that you've done with this car that you haven't in the other builds?
So yeah, this is my first turbo build. I've never done something turbo before. For the most part, my E28 I swapped a 1J into once upon a time, but it never really ran right, and I didn't know anything about turbos at the time. Not that I would say I know a lot about them still. I'm learning as we go. We put a Garrett G42 1200 compact on this thing. It's built to make 1,000 horsepower at the wheels. So that was kind of a new learning experience, figuring out how it all goes together and what components that I need, what the best way to accomplish certain things is. I really wanted all of the components that went on the car to be the best that I could get, and I wanted them all to work in unison, work well. I wanted to do the job right. For example, going with a wastegate priority on the turbo manifold as opposed to just focusing on getting that air into the turbo itself. Simple things like that a lot of fabricators or turbo guys in general probably know about, but normal guys like me might not. And so part of the build process was learning that for myself and then teaching that kind of thing to other people. Very
cool. And I know people are dying to find out the answer because I hear about it. I see the comments. Why did you take out a V8 Ferrari engine and put in a Japanese Honda?
Well, the original engine that came out of the car, fully dressed with the transmission, was 850 pounds. And that's an all-aluminum engine, all-aluminum transmission. It's just heavy, old stuff. This engine, fully dressed, 400 pounds on the nose. So we're talking about over 400 pounds in weight savings alone. On top of that, we've got huge reliability difference, huge cost of entry difference. I mean, I bought a complete 1,000 horsepower crate engine for this car, retail, for less than I sold the 30,000 mile motor out of the car. You just really can't compare what you can get for your dollar. I also wanted something with a lot of development behind it, something that was raced at racetracks every weekend around the world. Every problem that you could have with a K-Series has been had. It's been figured out. It's been developed. So among all those things, plus the fact that it's lightweight, it just made sense.
Keep talking about racing, proven. Obviously, it sounds like you're going to be racing this car and competing with it. It's not just a show car.
Correct. So I want to take the car time attack racing. I plan on running in some of the global time attack events. It'll be in the limited class, and I have to say, I don't plan on it being competitive. It is a cool car, and it is well built, but at the end of the day, I didn't build it to maximize the limited class rule set, and it is a 60s chassis under an 80s car in 2022. It's just, I've done the best that I can with it. I've changed everything that I possibly could, but at the end of the day, it's an antique.
So now that you got it here to SEMA, it runs, it drives, what's the next plan from the car other than the racing? Is there any new development that you plan on doing on it from here on out?
I just want to get home. I want to go through the tuning process. We haven't put it on the dyno yet. I mean, I feel really confident about the power figures. It's an established recipe. I worked with 4-piston racing to build an engine that was specifically meant to do 1,000 at the wheels, bulletproof. I said, I don't want to think about it. I want it to just be dead nuts reliable, and I want to make all the horsepower. And they said, okay, here's the recipe to do it. Here's how we're going to accomplish that. We've got all the right parts on it, bottom to top. It's done the right way. So we're going to get this thing tuned and then get to the track and start doing the shakedown process, the revision process, figuring out what the car needs to function well. Obviously, it looks really cool. I want it to function at that same level. So it's just a matter of making those revisions, those changes, or even realizing maybe I've totally messed up on something and starting that aspect over. But that's the beauty of being a fabricator and building your own car, is you can do that.
Very cool. So for those guys out there that don't know who you are, where can they find you?
YouTube, Stanceworks, easy as that.
Awesome. Mike, thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. And don't forget, guys, like, subscribe, comment. Is that the right?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot.